Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I have now done 1 week of Slimming World, and if you would like to see how much I lost in my first week and the favourite foods that I've been eating and what I've thought of the diet generally, then keep watching. So I have been a Slimming Worlder for a whole week now, and 1 day actually. I was actually weighed yesterday. That was my first weigh-in. But before I get into how much I lost and things like that, I thought I would just tell you how I found the first week, whether or not it's like been hard or I've been tempted and things like that. One thing I will say, if that you were about to start, that I didn't do and I wish I had, is like prepare for starting, in the sense that if you can find out a little bit about Slimming World before you do begin, or you can kind of empty out your cupboards a bit before you begin, it will help. Because I had things like beef mince in the fridge that is over like 5% fat, so like I've had to freeze it, or I've had like bits of food that I've like given away and things like that. And I can't, it's not that you can't eat things. That's the nice thing about Slimming World, is that you get between like 5 and 15 sins you're supposed to have a day, and you can use those sins however you like, which is great. But obviously some of them seem a waste. If you can eat the exact same thing but with less fat, then obviously that would make sense. Yeah, that's the one thing that I will say, is that I really wish that before I'd started I hadn't done like a food shop and stuff, because I've frozen bits and given a few bits away, or I've had to like think about whether or not like Mark can eat them or Bill will eat them and things like that, and it's just been a bit annoying because I kind of didn't think. So if you're about to start, then I would start with relatively empty cupboards, an empty fridge, and maybe go to a session, and then afterwards, armed with the knowledge that you've got, go and do a food shop. But my first week was actually really easy, and I know that sounds like, oh yeah right, bollocks. And this is the thing, before I started Slimming World I did not understand how people lost weight, because they would eat like English breakfasts and like curries and stuff, and I'd be like, I don't understand how they're doing that. But then you might remember, if you followed me for a while or like watched me for a while, I used to weigh a lot. I used to be a size 18 to 20 at one point, which was very big. It was after having Bill when he was around a year to 18 months old. I was at my biggest, and I tried to lose weight myself, and I did. I lost 3 stone in the end over a period of time, and I did things like the 30-day shred, and I cut back and made some big diet and lifestyle changes. So one thing, I would drink fizzy pop like it was water. So Coke, full fat Coke, I would just drink a few cans a day and I wouldn't even think anything of it. Water was not my friend, I didn't really like it, and I would just eat like a burger for lunch in the northern quarter in Manchester, go to some sort of like a restaurant or whatever there, and then I would come home and eat like a takeaway pizza, and I didn't even think, like, it just didn't even enter my head to count calories. I would cook with butter, oil, ghee. I would like use all the fat possible, all the cream possible, all the cheese possible. In fact, if there was a dish that could possibly incorporate cheese in any way, there would be cheese on it. So I made a lot of changes, and I would stop cooking with fats and stuff like that, and I would move to healthier alternatives, which I'll go on to in a moment. And I cut back on sugar, I cut back on processed foods, I cooked from scratch all the time. I knew what was going into my body, I ate loads of salads. I was so good, and I did really well on my own. But since having Daisy, and not that she's a hindrance to my life at all, but since I've got 2 children now, and obviously we went through a lot with having a baby in special care, and I was just struggling to find the motivation to start, because while I was still in my fug at home on my own during the day with my children, I would just eat what I want, because there'd be no one there to like see, and I could hide it, and I felt like if I was hiding it from everyone else, I was hiding it from myself. And then that was when I sort of realised that I needed someone, I needed a support group, I needed to get out there, I needed to make friends, I needed to socialise, and I needed to have that togetherness, because it really does help. So a lot of the things that I've been doing with Slimming World are things that I used to do anyway, and it's like I've rediscovered just eating better. And this is the thing, people go, oh, faddy diets are rubbish, you'll never lose weight, but this isn't a diet, and I know that now. It's just changing the way you eat and moderating things and eating smart rather than just like eating anything you want. And I have had, during this week, I have had gin and tonics, gin and slim, I would have that anyway, anyway. I've had glasses of wine, I have had like fakeaways that I've made that are really bloody good. I have had ice cream, I have had like chocolate and treats and things like that, and I've still lost weight. So I just want to go into a few of my favourites, and then I will go into my weight loss. So the first thing that I have been loving, I think I will show you, is this, and it's actually empty at the moment because I'm just about to drink one of these instead. But it's my Hydrate Mate bottle, and it's basically, I'm sure you've seen it, it comes with like markers and shows you how much you're supposed to drink throughout the day. And I've been really trying to get back into drinking more water again, and not just relying on caffeine and things like that. And I just find this really handy because I can fill it up, and if I'm on the school run I can throw it under the buggy. If I'm out and about I can like chuck it in my changing bag. I can carry it around the house, I can leave it on the sofa with the cap down, and it's wherever I go. I don't need to like go and top myself up really with a new glass of water. It's all here, and it's keeping me hydrated, which is really important. And water is a big thing like in any diet, whether or not you're doing Slimming World or something else. Like staying hydrated is really good because sometimes we eat when we're actually thirsty. And then obviously I was saying before that I've like gone back to cooking healthily with different fats, and then you know what I'm going to show you, but it's fry light. And I have rapeseed, I have olive oil, I have butter, which is my least favourite in all honesty, and then I have sunflower oil, which I probably use the most. And these, I actually had the sunflower and butter ones in anyway from when I used to use them. And for some reason while I was pregnant, you know, I don't know if any of you watch my pregnancy updates, but I went through a period where I was really sick, and our house was being renovated, and I just like got out of cooking. Like I didn't cook in the same way anymore, and I would do a lot of ready meals, and I would cut a lot of corners, which is not like me. And then all of a sudden the oils crept back in, the butter crept back in, and before I knew it that was like the normal way I cooked again. So this is nothing new, but I really recommend that you get these. There are other alternatives, there are some like own brands and stuff. I like Fry Light, doesn't bother me cooking with it, but some people don't like it, so you can always shop around. But this is a huge change I think, because you just add calories without realising it, and it's like they're healthy fats and stuff. And that's the thing with Slimming World, you are encouraged to have like your healthy extra A, which is all about like dairy and fats and stuff that way. But that's the whole thing, it's about moderation. It's not about not having your healthy fats, it's about not having too much of them. So those are really ace in my opinion. Now on to another thing that I've really been loving is these, and they are the Slimming World sin-free sausages. Now sausages are pretty much always sinned with Slimming World because of the gluten content. Obviously you normally add like breadcrumbs and things like that to produce a sausage, but these ones are sin free, and you can get the normal pork sausages, and then there's an Italian herb type one, which I've also got but I've not tried yet, and these are from Iceland, and I think they're £2 or £3, maybe £3 for 6, but they're frozen, so you can just grab as many as you want when you want, so you don't have to keep them in the fridge and use them all up at once if there's only you doing Slimming World. And they're really not that bad, and I had them this morning for breakfast, which was really nice. And another savoury thing is now with Healthy Extra A, I'm not going to go into it. If you want to find out more about Slimming World, I suggest you go to the Slimming World website to work out what Healthy Extra A's and B's are. But Healthy Extra A is basically kind of dairy produce in a nutshell, and you're allowed a certain quota of milk or dairy depending on what you would prefer to have, and you know what your preferences are. If you have a lot of cereal, then milk's the one for you. If you're obsessed with cheese, then cheese is a good one as well. Now one thing I've really enjoyed are the Laughing Cow triangles, because I love cheese, but cheese is very calorific, and I will still have like halloumi and stuff like that, but I'll obviously sin it. But if I can get away with having some free cheese, like these on a baked potato, are ace, and then you're avoiding having butter as well. And for your Healthy Extra A, you can actually have 6 of these triangles, which is like 3/4 of a packet. So if you're a cheese person, I really recommend these. They've got loads of flavours, and I've actually got 5 different packs in my fridge because I'm addicted, but that's really useful. And then obviously if you are choosing to have milk instead, then if you're a mum, I'm sure you'll have one of these knocking around, but a baby sort of bottle type thing are really useful because you can measure out how much milk you can have. Now if you are having skimmed milk, I swear my memory's right here, but you can have 250ml a day, which is up to here, so that's how much milk you can have. I don't really drink cereal, I'm not that big on it, and if I do have like a cereal or a breakfast in that way. I would normally have porridge, and you can make that with like water anyway. So I tend to save this for coffees or maybe cooking. Now if you can, depending on the type of milk you use, you can have more or less. So almond milk, I think you can have like a litre of milk for your quota, which is a lot. So if you want to cook with that and put that in your brews, then that's a really good choice for you. Skimmed milk is another option. I think you get 350 for that for your healthy extra. So you do get more. So for cereal, that's good. But for brews, a quick tip, it's skimmed milk. So if you like a milky brew, you're going to be adding more milk anyway, so I would stick with semi-skim personally if you're just going to use it for cups of tea or coffee. But these are really useful, and you can take them out and about as well. So if you're going out somewhere and you really want to keep on top of how much milk you're having, then you can take this with you. Finally, I'm just going to go on to some treats, because you've got to have a bit of treat in your life, and I've spoken about the alcohol already, but these are some sweet treats, because I do have a sweet tooth and I'm quite comfortable with that. The first one I'm going to share are Muller light yogurts. Everybody that does Slimming World knows how ace these are, because they're like your saviour and they're free. Now one of the new limited edition ones, and I'm sad that they're limited edition because they're so good, are the Muller light crumble ones, and you actually get, if you buy 3 Slimming World frozen meals, which I've had and they're not too bad by the way, at Iceland, you get a pack of these free at the moment. So it's always worth going if you like gonna shop there anyway. Check it out and get these, and they're so good. And what I've been doing is chopping up an apple and putting it in a bowl, putting this on top with a dusting of cinnamon, and it really is like you're having like an apple crumble or something. I mean, it's not exactly, but it tastes like it, and it's really good for you as well. And that is like speedy food with free food as well. So these are great, and I literally have almost a full shelf in my fridge full of them, and I'm going through them so quickly. Onto those sweet treats that I was talking about are these, and they're the hi-fi bars, and I have Rocky Road chocolate orange and the double chocolate one. I've had these 2 so far, and they are so good. Now healthy extra B's, you can use these 2 of these a day as your healthy extra B if you don't want to use like bread or cereal instead. I've been sinning them when I have had one, because 1 bar is 3 sins, and if you think about having like between 5 and 15 sins a day, then they're pretty decent, and they're really good as well. And they just sort of put you on if you like really want something sweet and you're like, oh, I miss chocolate, then have one of those. And then finally, Ben & Jerry's Son of a Witch. These little they're cookie ice cream sort of cookie bar thing. They are only 4 cents each, and they are absolutely gorgeous, and you can keep them in the freezer and you just take one when you want one. And they're about this big, and they're not huge, but they're about that thick, and they just sort of, they do the job, and they're really nice. And you're still having ice cream, and it's Ben & Jerry's as well. Like, what more could you want? And yeah, one thing I did do this week, which is probably a little bit different than what you're taught to do, but I know other people do it, is that I saved sins as well. Some days I could eat loads of food and not actually use any sins at all, and I would finish the day feeling really full, loads of speedy food in me, and feeling really good about myself. And then at the weekend, that meant I was able to have a few more treats or some extra light wine if I really fancied it. So that's one thing I have done to bear in mind. But this week I'm going to try and have a few more sins here and there, just to see what difference that makes to my weight loss. But you are probably wondering how much I lost in my first week. And the answer is 3.5 pounds, and I'm really happy with that. I am really happy with that. I did expect more initially, like when I stepped on scales and it was only 3.5, I was like, okay, because everybody had told me that they thought I was like looking slimmer already, and I just looked really good, and my skin had cleared up, and I just looked like better and happier already. But I don't know if that was just sort of like everything working from the inside out, and the confidence coming back, because I knew I was doing something about it. But if I lost 3.5 pounds every week, then I would be well into a stone in a few weeks in no time. So that's just something to think about, really. Like, don't be disheartened if you don't lose masses and masses. Some people go on their first week and they lose half a stone. Honestly, they do. And then the following weeks they only lose like 1 or 2 pounds. So don't worry about the numbers so much. As long as you're losing at the end of the day, then that's what counts. And if you don't feel like you're losing much, or you've gained and you want to know why, then the best thing to do is go back to basics and really look at how much you're having of everything, and are you actually having too much milk because you've not measured it out and things like that. And yeah, So that is it. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. I'm going to update every week and tell you how much I've lost or gained, and be really honest with you, because there's no point me lying, is there? Like, I want to do this to like inspire other people if they, you know, are feeling like me and wanting to sort of feel better about themselves. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.